I'd love to know a little bit more about the different types of institutions and how do they differ? What do the major players look like?
Yeah, wonderful question. Banking and credit institutions sit on a really wide spectrum, right? So you have on one end of the spectrum your traditional community banks, your credit unions, all the way on the other side of the spectrum, we have these big international giants like Citi and HSBC. And then you have all sorts of different institutions in between those two ends of the spectrum. So if we look at credit unions first, they tend to be non-profit entities. Their operating model is to lend to their members, who in most cases are individuals. Those credit unions who only deal with individuals will naturally not fund fossil fuel companies, right? Because they only do business with retail customers. Some may also service small and medium-sized companies. But again, your large fossil fuel company, your Chevron, will not be a credit union member, right? These institutions, they're small, they don't have the capital required to finance fossil fuel extraction or construction of pipelines or petrochemical plants. They also tend to have fairly good values. They promote the well-being of communities, they reinvest in their communities, they create local jobs. So they tend to score highly in metrics such as social impact metrics. And then in the middle, we have mid-sized banks, right? They could be privately owned or they could be public companies. Again, most will not finance the fossil fuel industry, again, because they just don't have enough capital. Saying that, certainly in the US, because large banks have in the past been under so much spotlight and pressure for many years about their banking practices, that we're starting to see these mid-sized banks getting into this space of supporting the fossil fuel industry. And one way they can do that is through what is known as syndicated arrangements, when they come together as a consortium and pool the funds and then fund projects that way. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have these giant banks, these international public companies that do most of the lending to the fossil fuel sector across all stages of the fossil fuel extraction, production, distribution process. So yeah, that's the spectrum, really wide. We have lots of different players with different characteristics, different amounts of capital available, and different operating models. And when we rate them using our proprietary methodology at Bank Green, we try and put them on the same level playing field, whilst also taking into account these differences between them.